Do you know what? I'll just get a test.
I think that's the best thing to do.
Get a brew and sit your ass down for the Nice Guys of Comedy podcast. Nice Guys of Comedy. The Nice Guys of Comedy. And here are your hosts, real life Northerners, Jack Vincent and Nick Crooks. They're from up north, gravy and chips. So listen to the words coming out their lips. I said they're from up north, gravy and chips. So listen to these words coming out their lips.
Yeah, well, kids know your weakness, though, Jack. Kids know. They'll sense that you can't cope. They see that, and they go for it. They go for it. They think, right, no one's coming to help this poor man. If we both attack him, especially with two, if we both attack him at the same time, mentally and physically, there's not a lot I can do.
It's so true. It just wore me down. And then the second week, I couldn't tell whether or not I'd got corona or my kids had just totally fucked with my mind. Like,
my kids fake cough.
Really?
Right. And my dad works in a school, and he said they don't know which kids are being serious or which kids just want 2 weeks off because my dad works in a high school, and they're old enough to know that if they just cough a little, that's 2 weeks off. But what they don't realise is the parents can't work because the school gives them a letter and the parents can't go to work. So there's no money coming in. You're like,
Fucking them all over.
But the thing I don't understand, just before kids going back to school, I was at a garden party and it's like chatting to a 10-year-old as you do, but yeah, like when you've got kids, you do tend to like actually have conversation with other people's kids. I like to talk to kids like they're normal human beings. So when I know it's appreciated in this day and age, it's a bit weird for me to come on a podcast and say, "Oh, it's chatting to a 10-year-old."
I like to talk to kids. I like to talk to kids.
This has gone horribly wrong.
As if they're fully grown adults. That makes it easier. If I just treat them like they're adults.
You had to isolate with these kids, and you were left alone with them for 10 days. I mean, they were your own. They're supposed they're safe. Others are not. My favourite thing to do at events where children are present. My niece a couple of years ago had a birthday party, and it was in the summer, and it was the first birthday party where school friends were coming rather than just like her parents' friends' kids. Mm. And this dad had come, dropped his kid off. They were all doing something, and he'd lingered and was whatever before he went off. He looked at me and went, "Oh, so which one's yours?" And I just went, "None," and left.
See, that's the worst thing you can say. That's the worst thing you can say because it screams paedophile. Yep. They've definitely that dad's definitely gone and told one of the staff members he's got no kids with him.
Well, no, because it was at my sister's house. It was at my sister's house.
Right.
Oh yeah, I should probably start with that bit.
Yeah, if you do that in public, you do that at Wacky Warehouse or something like that. None of them are mine.
No,
not one.
None yet. Yeah, so then he looked really concerned, but he obviously didn't know many of the other parents, so was by himself for a while. So I felt a bit bad, so I was like, "Oh, I'll just go and chat to him." And then I went, "Oh, I'd like to clarify that none of them are mine, but she is my niece." And he was like, "Oh, right." And then he left, and I was like, "Now that I've cleared the air, we could have been friends."
You don't want to make friends with people at soft play centres, mate. Just trust me, that's like a rule of thumb right there.
This was my sister's garden.
I thought you just said it was a soft play centre.
No, Nick did.
No, I mentioned this stuff.
Yeah, sorry.
Blame Nick for this one. Blame Nick for that one.
Well, to be fair, you didn't mention it, so I just assumed the party was at somewhere like soft play.
True. That one. I'll take that one. That one's on me.
Because for my eldest's party, I took him to a soft play centre where adults were allowed in as well.
Okay, that's pretty sick.
Yes, innit?
I want to go to a soft play centre where it's just for adults and it's alcohol.
Yeah.
Go to one of those jump arena places and just get pissed beforehand. It's amazing.
Yeah, but a trampoline and alcohol, that just screams vomit. And we've already established that I don't think I've got a very strong stomach right now. We've already been speaking for 10 minutes. But Nick, do you want to do the introductions? Because we didn't even do any of that and we've been going already.
I mean, we might as well never do the introductions.
I mean, we'd like to at least introduce who we actually have on the podcast because, a name would be sufficient. Because let's face it, all we've got is just, especially for someone listening to this at home, it's just three guys talking. Could be anyone. I mean, hopefully, if you decide to listen to this podcast and this is the first episode you're listening to, that would be pretty weird. So hopefully you would have already listened to some others. But if you haven't, Nick, who do we have on this week?
Well, this is the Nice Guys Comedy Podcast with your regular hosts, me, Nick Crooks, and the wonderful Jack Vincent. And we are joined by our just funny all-round guy guest, Rory Mason.
Whoop, whoop.
Jack, yeah, see, I'm good. Like Ant and Dec, I give Ant and Dec a run for the money.
I love that. I love that
you
introduction
do.
as well.
Yeah.
I felt it built me up too much rather than like, oh, he's the guy that basically built Jack a free website and got himself in on the podcasts.
I mean, you also, as well, I mean, I'm not just saying this is the only reason why you're on there, but you did part of the comedians at their peak, in their peak, up their peak, one of the peaks.
To be fair, Rory did it all.
Did all three peaks?
Yeah. People in this podcast room right now. Rory did it all.
In actual fact, I will say this. I mean, in all fairness, there's only two of them. But you are actually the first podcast guest we've had on since doing the peaks who did all three of the peaks.
I mean, that's like a proper elongated.
It is, but it's a title and take it, mate.
So who have you had on since that didn't complete the peaks?
No one actually, because in all fairness, because we recorded the podcast with Ryan before we went up the peaks. We were all full of hope. We were full of hope that we were going to do it because Ryan was the first one where we knew we were going to do it. We've had Guy and we've had Marie on, but they were months ago, so we had the peaks thing. Were not even anything to chat about. But we had Ryan, and we were all like, "Yeah, we're going to do so well, and it's going to be amazing." And then, I mean, we all know how me and Ryan did on that day. I mean, admittedly, I did the exact same amount of peaks as Nick did. I'm putting that out there.
Right. No, I'm just going to say that being part of Mountain Rescue for like a couple of hours, more than enough makes up for the last peak. I'm not going to lie. I was cold. I was wet. If I didn't have Jack with me, I would have been alone as well, just to top off, without any keys.
Yeah. Also, not this Jack either. That's Jack Wilkins as well. Like you guys basically. I would say, okay, I'm gonna put this out there. You guys rescued me and Ryan, but in all fairness, we didn't need rescuing. Like we just got a little bit lost. We found the pub and we were fine. Oh. Nick thinks otherwise.
No, it was.
How long were you looking for us? Was it an hour?
Yeah, it was nearly an hour, I think.
Oh, is this the Jack driving along that road story? Because that's all I've heard, that Jack drove along the road for a while. So this sounds like a cracker of a story. I've not.
We went. Right, I'll explain. So after you left us, Rory, and me and Jack decided that it was going to be too dark for us to cut.
You decided not to continue.
We decided not to continue, but I didn't want to go up in the dark because I'm definitely the guy that needs mountain rescue. I didn't want that embarrassment. Okay, I struggled on the slippy stuff on the way down the second one. I thought if that's the same on the third one and it's dark, I'm dead.
And it was 100 times worse.
That'd have been me. You'd have been talking to me, and then I'd have said, "Does anyone want a dinosaur sour?" And then I'd have slipped, and everyone would have gone, "Where's it gone?" And I'd have just been like miles down the hill.
Oh, I felt bad for you though, mate, because I felt like you going up Whernside, like you were on it, like everything, it was going really well, and then you seemed to just like all of a sudden, just like within like a 30-second period, go from being like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this," to being like, "No, I'm off home. No, I'm not."
The thing is, I got to the top and I was like, "Yes, we're at the top." Or like, yeah, buzzing, we're at the top. And then literally about 3 or 4 steps down that other side, the slate thing, I was like,
No.
Nah. Like, that's where I was like, I looked at the time and I was like, it's going to be dark. I'm going to die. I am literally going to, if I go up that, I'll be fine. Going up it, I would get to the top and it would all be good. And I'd probably be like, yes, I'm at the top. And then on the way down, I would be so exhausted in the dark. And I just thought, this is me. I will die. I just thought, genuinely, I would die.
So that's how your mind went, right? This is how we did. So me and Ryan were at the back of the pack, and also I think the reason why we did was because I stopped to do something with my sock, and then you guys just boom went ahead. We walked. You know when you're walking past the aqueduct, we were walking past it, and we just got chatting to these two women who were coming from the aqueduct, and we just said, look, what sort of time are we looking at? And they said, at that moment in time, they just done 2 of the mountains. I had an epiphany. I was like, fuck it. If they can do 2 in the time it took us to do 1, we can boss this out. We can fucking smash it out of the park, right? I'm there going along. And then, do you know the bit, again, to people listening at home, it makes no sense unless you've actually done it. But there's a bit where you're walking like that, but then you hit something and then you turn to go up. When we were at that point, that was when we were having the conversation of, are we going to continue doing this? Because it's stupid. But we'd confirmed at that point that we weren't going to do the 3rd one. We were going to do the 2nd one, but we weren't going to do the 3rd one. So Ryan said at that point, shall we let them know just to carry on? And I said, no, because we all did this for the social media shite. We need to take a picture at the end with our fucking flags. And bear in mind, I was the one with the fucking flags. So I was like, no, let them go ahead. Then it started to go on an incline, and I'd given up. I was like, you know what? No. Me and Ryan literally said to each other, what's going to be easier, to get up and down the mountain or to go back? And I was like, we've come too far to go back. We're carrying on. But then I rang Nick and was like, just carry on. Don't wait for us. Just go.
We were near the top. When you rang, I was stood next to Rory at the time. Yeah. And we were near the top.
When I think around this time. Well, what about
400 yards, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we started walking up, and at this point, we were literally, no word of a lie, walking for 5 minutes and then taking a break for 5 minutes, and then walking for 5 minutes and taking a break for 5 minutes. There were a bit where we were on the incline, and I know for a fact that we were about half an hour behind you guys because literally the spot that we were sat on, I checked my phone and the other Jack had done an Instagram post and it said 30 minutes ago and we were in the exact same position because I'd taken the exact same picturesque photo. Okay, right, it looks exactly the same. So we then, at that point, we were still debating it. We were crawling up this mountain. Someone said, oh, the top's only 30 minutes away. She's a fucking liar. It took us an hour. But when we were going up this, we met this guy who was traveling the world climbing these mountains. And I was like, you're a fucking psychopath, but okay. We got to the top. And when we got to the top, I was like, you know what? We need to get back. We need to get to the train station. And we need to get back to where we were. I checked the train and I said, there's a train in 45 minutes. That's the last one. I'm pretty sure we can make it. Fun fact, from that point to getting back to that train station was 3 hours. We definitely missed that train. But then we just started walking down. But because we knew that we weren't doing it, we just took our time. And you know how I had them walking rambling stick things? They legitimately just turned into crutches by this point. Going down that slate bit was horrendous. It was horrible. Awful. And then we got a message from Jack saying that them two were deciding not to do it. So you guys were at the pub. I had a burst of energy and I was like, whoop, let's go. We got to the bottom of the mountain. And I think at this point we were only about like an hour behind or an hour and a half behind you guys. But the issue was you guys took the right-hand path and we took the left-hand path that went through all the farmlands. Now, all them farmlands has no signal. So we then just got lost, and we knew that we were heading towards the aqueduct. So we then walked for an hour, got to the pub, and then in this time, Nick's having a heart attack.
So Rory will know where you left us, Rory.
Yeah.
Just through them, and then you started to make it, and then there's the farmhouse.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the hill. Now you obviously went right and followed the signs to the road, and then
No, wait.
Oh.
No, because basically what happens is as soon as you get to that kind of farmhouse at the bottom, or you wait with the farmhouse. Yeah, no, then you carry on.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah.
And then you kind of hit another road.
Yeah.
And we then took a slight left and a right, and then you go up. Inglewood.
Yeah. So you went to the main, sort of like the main car road.
Yeah.
As if that road leads to the pub. So you followed that left for a bit, and then you went right where it's told you Ingleborough was. Well, we went exactly the same. Me and Jack went exactly the same way you went, and just followed that road all the way back to the pub. Whereas Jack went left through the fields. So when we were driving along that road, we drove backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards, thinking, they're surely going to hit this road at some point. And then we thought, what if we've missed him and they've started to walk back? So we drove all the way back to where we parked the cars. We got out. We had a look at the cars. We went round the other cars, the other ones where you and Guy had parked. We went back there. We had a look from there. And then on the way back, I finally got a message from Jack saying we're at the pub, and I just rang him and said, "Stay there."
The thing is, right, so there's 2 points on this. When we got to the pub and we were trying to get signal and stuff like that, Ryan said, he went, just out of interest, he went, what if they're parked up and they want us to go to the car? Like, what if we've then got to walk back to the car park? And I turned around and I said, I respect Nick with all of my heart, and I think he's a great human being, but I will hold his keys ransom and make him come to me. I am not walking that way. I will be a dick. I will, Ryan, I will punch you, get them keys, and make him come to me. I am not going any further. But what also made me laugh was when Nick said, "Stay the fuck there." Obviously, it stayed right there. Didn't swear or anything like that. I had flashbacks to when I went missing as a kid, and my mum found me on my phone and were like, "Just stay there." That's the exact flashbacks that I had on that day.
The dad came out in me, Rory.
That's it.
But my question to you, Rory, is obviously you went up to Ingleborough and obviously had a whale of a time. And you and Guy were pretty much never looked defeated.
Oh, well, this is where I've got to give Guy like a huge shout out here, because if it wasn't for Guy, I don't know. Like, I don't think I'd have got up Ingleborough. Like, Guy was just the whole time, like, just like, yeah, man, yeah. And for ages, I was like able to totally feed off that. And it kind of got to this point where, like, Ingleborough was just like bog. And I kept on saying to the guys, it's like, don't worry, the higher we get, the drier it'll be. That's just physics. And yeah, no, apparently that's not just physics, because the higher we went, the wetter it got. And it went like, because they closed the path. Like, basically what we had to do was scramble up this like vertical, muddy, slippy hill. And again, I've got to do a fucking total shout out to Marie here, because it was just absolutely amazing, because me and Guy kind of like piled on and was like, no man left behind. But then kind of Marie just like still constantly going, and then we wait for a bit and then she'd carry on. And as soon as she got to us, we'd just sod off again, because that was the only way we could get to the top before dark. And Marie never complained once. She never was like, can I please have a break? She just constantly soldiered on. And, you know, like I was able to, like, you know, have loads of breaks and stuff like that. So it was like, she's an absolute legend, and so is Guy. Because without either of them, I don't think I'd have actually made it in any way, shape, or form.
Honestly, I think you both are. And also, can we get a special shout out to Scout, because they didn't even want to come to the fucking walk. They were like, oh, it's 6 a.m. going out for a little walk. And by probably like 7 p.m, they're like, I'm calling the RSPCA even. Like, they were like, I'm checking out of this. Fuck this shit. This is horrendous.
Scout definitely sat down at one point and looked at you as if to say, if you make me walk again, I'm going to shit in every one of your shoes for the next 4 months.
Yeah. So Scout's my Labradoodle, and she had this point where she basically just it was absolutely pissing it down with rain, and various times she'd shelter behind me, and I was a bit like, this feels like the wrong way around. But then she'd kind of just be like that. And I think I've genuinely given her a complex about rain because she's not quite been the same since. It starts raining and she looks at me as in, like, I'm not going out. I'll shit on your living room floor. I do not care.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that, that one's on me. But
That one's on me. Mentally scarred the dog for life. That one's on me.
Against rain.
She's awesome though. Like the one thing I'll say is that it was like door to door. So we set off at like 4 o'clock and something stupid in the morning, and then like door to door, I worked out it was 20 hours we were away. And so for all of like that, Scout was walking and we were walking, which was I think about 17 hours in total. Like, and everyone's been like, since I've got back, everyone's like, what, did you take a wrong turn? Like, it doesn't take you.
Yeah, everyone says that though. Everyone says that about, you only did 2 and it took you this long.
I think we did take a wrong turn somewhere because like also my Fitbit said that we did like 32 miles and everyone's like, what are you talking about? It's 24.
My phone said that I did more than the actual mountains themselves, and I didn't do the last one. That's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, so I think we took a majorly wrong turn between Pennigan and Whernside. Then that's what just elongated our trip. But because so many people have said that to me since. So that in itself is funny.
My favourite thing, though, I'll just show you, is my health monitor on my iPhone. You can see which day we did the fucking mountains on.
This one on the left. It's the one on the left.
Yeah.
I've had entire weeks where I did less steps than I did on that day.
Yeah. Like, it was, but we raised quite a lot of money for 2 brilliant charities. Even if one of the people said, "Can we do it for this charity?" and then didn't fucking do it, Miss Ellie Pollard. No, we raised some good money. But everyone was like, "Oh, I bet you really enjoyed it." No. Not even a little bit. I'm never doing it again.
No, I will. I'll stick up for the trip because I will say from the first one to do you know what? From the first one till where we got the map out when we, when we sat by that cattle grid, till then, I sort of was thinking I've actually enjoyed the walk down from Pennigan.
Okay. I'll give you that. The walk down from Pennigan, yes. I didn't like the walk up it.
So
I didn't mind the walk.
Raining onwards, you didn't enjoy it.
As soon as we sat down and had lunch, and as soon as we started eating and it pissed it down, I thought, oh fucking hell! And I just did. Then the walk. It's the walk round the second one. I think I assumed it would be straight up, but you have to walk so far around it before you start to climb it.
Not a fan.
Which I find weird.
Not a fan.
To be fair, I actually quite enjoyed that because I thought I didn't enjoy it whilst I was going up Whernside. And then when Pennigan was like almost a practically vertical scramble, I was like, no, definitely enjoy this slow round incline a lot more.
I did say, like Whernside, if it was a case that I could do just Whernside, it was picturesque, it was quite a nice, just gentle walk, but I was knackered from the fact that I just climbed one mountain and come down one. That one wasn't bad. I liked the walk down from Pennigan. I thought it was very picturesque. At one point, it went from a point where you couldn't see your hand in front of your face to clear picturesque. The walk that we did across like the side of it, that bit was good. And then someone said, "Do you want to do another mountain?" And I was like, no. Like, I hate this life. I remember at one point when we left the burger van, I literally said to Ryan, I went, "We don't have to do this one. I'd be up to go to the pub, mate. We'll leave them to it." And Ryan was like, no, we can do it. And I went, "Mate, you could barely do the first one, right? Let's just sleep." But we did it. And again, I'm putting it out there. I did just as many as Nick. So
it's all right. It's not a competition.
Well, if it is, I did 3. Just say.
Oh yeah. I'll give it to you, Rory. I'm not making it as a competition. I walked a long time, and we had to stop. I'm going to ask Rory this because you didn't seem to remember. Do you remember stopping by that bridge on the walk from Pennigan to Whernside and waiting for that woman to have a poo?
Yes.
See?
Yeah. We all got like really like, oh wait, that woman's doing a poo. Let's not make it obvious that we're looking. So let's all look back at Ingleborough. Look back at Pennygent as if like, isn't it a great thing that's going on?
We were looking at that sign on the gate that was spelt wrong. Everyone was like stood looking at that sign going, they will have spelt that wrong. And then there's just this woman stood on the bridge, but like looking at a friend as if to say, no, yeah, no one's looking at you. Keep chilling one out.
No recollection, but obviously me and Ryan were at the back of the pack the majority of the time. But no, I still say this. I think one of my funniest bits was obviously you obviously weren't there because you were busy climbing up a third mountain, Rory. But when we got back, I changed into a fresh T-shirt from the British Tinnitus Association, a fresh pair of boxers, and that was it. And just sat in Nick's car whilst he had to do a 2-hour trip home to get us home. I then walked into my house just in the T-shirt and boxers and a pair of boots. And it took my mum 5 minutes to go, why do you not have any trousers on?
But I'm sure, like if I know one thing about you is you spend a remarkably small amount of time in trousers.
Yeah,
that is very true. I've got trousers on for the occasion today. Like I've trekked myself. I mean, it's either take it one of two ways. It's either because I knew we were doing the podcast, or I had to collect my food delivery before we ordered. So, well, before we on here. I mean, you choose which one.
I thought about that as well. I was like, I'm doing this podcast. What should I wear?
It's going to be the same hoodie that you always wear.
So yeah, the same hoodie. That was obviously going to be the choice. And like, I wear this hoodie every day, all day. It's just a thing. But then I could have worn anything on the bottoms. Like that was the option was mine because I had no intention of standing up and showing you my crotch.
I was about to say, when you said I could have worn anything, I just genuinely expected you to stand up and it just be like tinsel hot pants, and I was like, not expecting that.
With them edible pants.
Oh.
You told me not to prepare anything. Like.
I mean, you don't have to prepare anything at all. I mean, we go with the flow. Literally, I've been helping out on a other podcast. Don't worry, Nick, calm down. Don't worry, I'm not cheating on you.
On the podcast, are you?
I volunteer at university on a men's mental health podcast, and they've brought in a professional guy to teach everyone how to do a podcast. Which I'm not going to lie, it's an 8-week course. But like each week, it's like week 1, we'll learn about how to plan an episode. And I sat there, and bear in mind, the guy occasionally speaks to me because he knows I might have a podcast. And he goes, "So how do you guys prepare for your?" When I went, we don't. We literally just go on a podcast. We go on Skype and then we press record, and then we literally chat shit, and then we just press unpause. So you don't have any topics or anything like that. I went, occasionally we'll have a topic in mind, but we'll never stick to it. In the slightest.
We spoke about the peaks. That was a topic.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I would do it again, just to go back to the peaks. I would do it again, but I'd do Pen again, get to the pub, and stop.
Well, you can do it. Like it still counts as doing the 3 peaks. If you do Pen again, then you get in a car. Someone drives you to Whernside, you do that. Then someone drives you to Ingleborough and you do that. Like, do you remember when we got to the aqueduct and there was like masses of buses and cars and everything? That's what they were all doing, looking happy as Larry. And we just like walked like this ridiculous track that apparently was twice the amount that we actually needed to walk.
Well, that's what correlates to that is the guy in the pub asking where we'd come from, because he was like, he seemed to think that we'd been fucking walking forever. So
I think we needed to take a right. Like there was this point where like there was, you know how at the time like everybody was bypassing us. It was just like all these fresh-faced people who'd got up like 2 hours after we did, and like quite happy to overtake us. Like there was half the people went left and half the people went right, and I think we went left, which was like this. So I think we ended up kind of walking huge amount and then kind of doing a rectangle right. Whereas we could have just taken this kind of diagonal straight to. But at the time, we were hoping that whatever we thought was Whernside was this mountain that was quite close to us. When in fact, it was real. And all the time we were going, I hope it's not that one. I hope it's not that one in the distance.
Yeah. That generally was the topic of conversation all the way there. We're getting. It must be this one. We're close to this one. Look, you can see it. You can pretty much see it. I hope it's definitely can't be that one.
But then we spent ages walking along the road, and I can't imagine that in any like official Three Peaks trail, you're supposed to spend a huge, 2 miles walking down the road, which is where I think we massively went wrong. And it's like the end, we definitely also took an extra part because Guy and Marie, because they, like, I have to say again, Guy and Marie did it in trainers.
Like, so did I.
No. They finished it in trainers. They make and it's the end.
What? Boom! Knife in, twisted.
Oh,
finished it, Jack. They didn't just attempt it in trainers.
Oh wait, no, I didn't. I did it in boots. Forget about it. Forget it.
Tried to make it work.
Trainers. Didn't even in boots.
You tried to get in the same realm as Guy and Marie. And you
so we're coming down when you're coming down Ingleborough, right? Guy and Marie are just slipping every 2 feet. It just was. It got to the point where I'd have considered just tobogganing down if it wasn't for the fact that there are these big, ugly white rocks everywhere, massive boulder-like things, and it'd be this isn't going to be fun. One of us is going to get impaled. So you kind of think about it like that, and it got to the point where we had the option of going 2 miles straight on, but carry on the same terrain that they're falling over every 2 seconds, or take a left down a much more sensible path that joins onto a road. And so we ended up walking, but that was 4 miles. So we ended up doing an extra 2 miles by going on a path that just meant they didn't have to fall over all the time.
Safer. I'd take that. That seems safer.
Yeah.
In my trainers that I didn't wear. No, I think I know where we went wrong, and that's when a month before me and Nick had an idea about going up Three Peaks on this podcast because I just stuck. I think I'm happy to do some fundraising. I'm really happy to do it. Just never again. I have never felt pain like I did in my crotchal area the next day.
I think physically, I was time-wise. I think physically I could have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was close. I think I'd have been dead after.
Yeah.
But I thought I was going to struggle a lot more. That when I was going up the second one, I thought, do you know what? This is all right. I'm going. Let's crack on. And I overpacked. I had the biggest bag. Why did I you shouldn't be a scout. They tell you to be prepared. For what? Nothing happened. I could have just had a couple of bottles of water and my dino sours and a carrier bag.
Fucking dino sours. Calm down, we got it. You brought them.
I could have had a Morrison's carrier bag with a couple of bottles of water in, and a coat. That's it. That's all I needed because I didn't even have a drink really.
I don't know. I bought a lot of grub. I bought a homemade soup, 2 bacon sandwiches, various crisps, all sorts of stuff. And again, I loved every bit of it because I got home and I was starving. That was a serious effort. I carb loaded properly the next day. It was awesome.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I drank soup. The soup was nice. I had some soup at the top of the first one.
But what I would say as well, though, Nick, you did the thing that me and Ryan did, in the sense that you did 2 mountains. No, I'm kidding. You'd got it in your head that you were going to stop after that first one. So as soon as you checked out, you physically couldn't go any further.
Yeah, as soon as I said no, as soon as it got to the bottom, and Rory and Guy were like, "Come on, you can do it," and part of me was going, "Yeah, I can." And then when I'd actually said the words no, I'm not doing it. And I sat down on the wooden sort of sty thing. I sat down on there and then my body literally went, I literally couldn't walk after that then. I think my body went, do you know what, you're not going anywhere now.
Yeah.
You've said no, so you're not doing it.
Oh, mate, I really wish we could have swayed you though. Because it's I spoke to you and you, I think you even said to me, I'm not doing it. And then Jack, who I'd spent quite a bit of time talking to, he was like, do you know, yeah, look, time again, we're not going to go up there in the dark, And I'm like, oh God, is that it? Am I going to do that? Am I going to have to leave you guys and do it myself? Because I tell you, I've walked this long and I've done 2 out of the 3. I'm not going home and facing my friends because they're going to torment me because all I've done is say, I'm definitely going to do it. I'm definitely going to do it. It's not even a problem. One of my mates was like, do you know people lose all their toenails? And I was like, no, I'm doing it. So, and then all of a sudden, I'm there getting a bit of a grump on being like, oh, gonna have to do this by myself. And I go up to the guy and be like, oh, what are you doing? Expecting him to be like, yeah, no, I'm not fancying it. He's like, yeah, I'm doing it, guy. You come on, let's do it.
How did he have so much energy? That's what I don't get.
I don't know. I have no idea how
he was brilliant though. Like there was a point where, like as I said, we'd taken this step. We're walking down this road. So we're like in the last like mile of the 32 that we'd done that day, and Guy starts doing like star jumps, saying like, "Tell Jack I'm still going."
I couldn't do that. I could barely get out of the car when I had to let Ryan out because the child locks were on. My right leg seized straight, and I had to walk. You know, like when they swing the leg like it's a fake leg. I was like swinging it round because it would not bend. Like it seized so badly. And I remember just getting in. I had to go up the stairs backwards at home because I couldn't. I just sat on my bum going up the stairs like, what has happened to this leg? This leg's never had this much damage done. I've trained for the Navy, you know, and this is like this didn't happen before. This is the worst pain I've felt in one leg.
Well, that's it. Like, because I did Penny Ghent for my birthday. Like, because that's, you know, like that's the type of celebrations you have in this like family orientated post Rona world. Like, yeah, you get to like, what should we do? Let's go for a long walk. And so like went and did Penny Ghent, and I came back, and then I rang you, Jack, and I was like, yeah, mate, I did Penny Ghent and it hurt. Yeah, like you've and at the time you're like, yeah. Like, I've been walking to the end of my street. It's fine. I'm like.
It's basically what I did. Walked to the end of the street. Yeah. Excuse me, I did Penny Ghent and the next one. Like, I was prepared-ish. Like,
I think we did. I think everyone did all right to say they were not really prepared.
We all accomplished our own personal goals. Okay, that's what we're going to say. As much as I give complete and utter shout outs to Rory, Guy, Anne-Marie, my MVP was Ryan, because let's face it, quarter of the way up the first mountain, we were all like, nah, mate, he ain't making this. And the guy literally did 2 mountains, okay? And he got to the bottom of the second one before I did, because I was a mess. Like, at one point, I had to apologise to him because I kept keeping him behind. So, like, that guy did well. And you know what? Nick, other Jack, you guys did all right too. Don't worry about it.
I'm totally with you, because like we stopped something like 5 times at Penny Ghent for a break. And then I was worried, if I'm being totally honest. It was like, oh, geez. And then anytime we got to a gate, it seemed that was a call for a long break.
Yeah. Oh, there's a gate here. About 6 steps. Oh, look, there's another gate. Look at this.
My favourite thing was literally by the time that me and Ryan got to the top of Penny again, more so Ryan, because I got there a little bit. I got there. We literally got there, took the picture, and then you were like, right, we're going now, guys. And then me and Ryan were like, see ya. We'll catch you at the bottom. We'll catch you at the bottom.
To be fair, we had this isn't a dig or anything, but it felt like we'd been there ages.
We'd been there for 4 days.
Like, there were people going, right, we'll have a quick picture, like eating a sandwich like a gerbil, and then going. Like, there were literal teams that were eating sandwiches, like, right, are we going? And off, and we were like, oh, we literally saw that many people. Like, just bypass that area.
We managed to get that bench on the wall, you know, like, because we'd been there long enough for someone to vacate, someone to go back in, someone to vacate, and then we got it. And then so many people, like, came and, like, looked at us and, like, they're leaving the bench anytime soon. We'd love to sit down.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, they ate their sandwich and were like, oh, we're going. Oh, we've not had a chance to sit down on the bench. They've been there that long.
This fucking bench where everyone wants a fucking good little sit down.
But you must have, you're right, Rory, about people driving or going the right way. The right way. Because we clearly didn't go the right way. We saw so many people, and even on the way down we saw so many people. And then at one point I was like, when we were walking, we didn't see anyone for ages. And I thought, where is everyone? Where is everybody gone? They're not that far in front of us. And there must be someone behind us now. And then there was literally no one, apart from Pooh Woman.
Good old Pooh Woman.
I'm not
on the walk from Penny Ghent to the Whernside. We only saw a few people, I think. We
saw, like, there were loads of people. As I say, as we were coming down Penny Ghent, loads of people were like overtaking us, and gradually less and less and less. And that's where I think we took that wrong turn. Like,
because then I was thinking there must be still people coming down this mountain, and no one's caught us up, and we're not going particularly fast.
Mm.
I mean, there was that old dude who wanted to chat on the walk. He was with his daughter. He was talking to you and Ryan a lot. Jack.
Oh yeah, when we were walking. Yeah, he just came up and just was like, "Oh, so are you doing all free? Are you doing it for fun?" We were like, "No, we're doing it for charity." And then I was like, "Please, for the love of God, Ryan, do not tell him that we're comedians because he'll want to talk more, and I'm not in the right frame of mind.
He'll want a joke. He's one of them who goes, go on then, tell us a joke.
Tell us a joke." To be fair, it was one of these things where like we were just walking parallel for a while, and then he started to realise that me and Ryan were not at his speed. So then
he was like, I really want to chat to these, but they're holding me back.
Yeah. That's literally what it was like. It was like, no, bye now.
I mean, the guy at the pub told me the best words when me and Jack got there. I don't know if you know this, Rory. Me and Jack ordered a taxi to get back to the car.
Do you not know? I hadn't heard that. Like, sorry if I look like I'm smirking. It's because I am a little bit, if I'm being...
Yeah, well, we got there, and I Googled how long it would walk from the pub to along that road that obviously we walked on, and then more, because we'd have had to walk on the road.
Yeah.
Walk on the road was going to be 2 hours and 45 minutes to get back to the car from the pub, which seems bizarre because it only took like 20 minutes in the car.
But it took like 5 hours to go over the top of the mountain because we were like, yeah, come on, it can't be easier to walk round than up and over the top. We were like, up and over is obviously the easiest way. No, apparently the 2.5 mile walk or the 5 minute taxi.
So we asked the pub and they phoned the taxi, but it was like, it'll be 25 quid to do like a few mile. Like, it was like 6 or 7 mile. And we were like, yeah. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it is. I'm tight. That's how bad. If I've got to spend at least 12 quid, £12.50 to get somewhere quick, then you know that it's bad. Because I would walk, like, I've made my wife walk from a nightclub because I didn't want to pay for a taxi.
How long did the taxi take to get there?
15 minutes.
See, I love this idea if it actually turned up in like 2 minutes and just this like chancer taxi driver just waiting at that pub just to collect people in exactly your predicament.
Well, he couldn't get through. The guy at the bar. This is the intense bit of the story. He couldn't get through to the taxi rank, which obviously it was miles away still because we're in the middle of nowhere. So I rang my wife to try and book me a taxi from the closest taxi rank.
Did you? Yeah. I didn't know this bit.
No, yeah. And she was like, I'll try. So she tried to get through, and then she was like, I can't. And then the guy from the pub was like, oh, I've got one. 15 minutes, it's going to be 25 quid. And me and Jack just looked at each other and just went, yeah.
To be fair though, I don't blame you because there was a similar thing. Like as I say, when we got down Ingleborough, we went down this bridle path, and all of a sudden, like we kind of done the 2 miles it took to get to the road, and now we're on the road. It was a bit like, right, fucking hell, how do we get a fucking taxi? We're like looking, and we're trying to ring you guys just on the off chance that you stayed in the pub and are drinking and like celebrating your victory, and we're still like
celebrating the end of the walk. We've ended it.
And then and then we're there just being like, damn it, no signal, damn it. And so like much as if I'm taking the piss out of you in any way, Nick, it's nothing that I would not have done if I'd have been in your shoes.
I'd like to clarify as well, and I think this might be a good place to end it because obviously we've been going for a while, but I was in the car with obviously Nick and Ryan, and we were still in the area, but we'd only just set off, and I just turned and I went, what if they're expecting like us to take them to the cars? And Nick just turned around and went, they can go fuck themselves. They were exact words.
In my head I was thinking, I don't know how long they're going to be. If they're genuinely going to get to the bottom and go, or get to where my car was parked and go, have they left? Then I was going to be like, yes, of course we've left. Like,
No, I mean
Jack
we finished
drops
at like 10:30 at night, mate. We'd set off at like 6:30 in the morning. We were like, of course they've left.
Jack Wilkins, he drops off at the car park. He was already driving away before the car door had even fucking closed. He was like, I'm gone, bye. See you in about 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, genuinely what? He dropped us off and he went, I'm going straight home. And then he just drove off.
His actual last words, I think, was, I have not enjoyed this. And then just left.
But again, he was another person that, like, I think, like, the straw that broke the camel's back for Jack was like when Nick went, because he seemed quite buzzing about doing it, and then at the end when we left, he was like, yeah, guys, I just want you to know this is what you're doing. It's probably dangerous going up this mountain at this time, and we were like, yeah, no, I mean, genuinely, you're probably right, but no, fuck it, I've come this far.
Rory was like, I'll take your concerns on board.
Fuck them.
However, I'm still going to do it. And then Jack was like, no, I don't think you realise that when you're on the way down, it'll be pitch black. And Rory was like, yeah, I get that, but I've still got to do it. I was like, oh.
I was trying to be so diplomatic because I didn't want to say it. Like, I didn't want to say anything bad. And his concerns were justified. Like, he was like, I'm genuinely worried about your guys' safety. I'm like, yeah, no, but I'm kind of gotta do this.
I think that's the thing. At one point when I slipped on the way down the second one, I thought, nah, I'm dead. I thought that if I slip here, I'm going to hurt myself now. And this is daylight. So, like, you know, imagine that story. How did the Three Peaks go? Well, at about 10:30, then we'll had to phone Mountain Rescue. And long story short, I'm going to be on the front page of the Telegraph and Argus next week.
To be fair, a lot of people's Three Peaks story ends like that.
Yeah. I mean, the only benefit to that is that I might have injured myself. I could get the Disability Act on a lineup. I could, you know, if I had to, when they want a diverse lineup, I could say, well, I'm disabled now because I'm in a wheelchair for a bit, and obviously I've got a good story to tell.
For a bit.
Oh, gee.
Yeah. Well, as long as I don't do no, obviously I'd be well fucked off if I were in a wheelchair because I've tried to prove a point to nobody and gone down like. Because none of my mates cared, like your mates cared, Rory. None of my, like, I could have lied. If I didn't do any of this talking, I could have gone, yeah, I did it, I fucked it. No one would care, no one would look into it or anything.
Well, no, my mates, like Nick, this is the difference between your mates and my mates. Like, when I came to asking for sponsorship, my mates turned around to me and said, we've decided not to sponsor you because that would mean admitting you're a comedian.
Oh my God, nice.
Oh, and on that note, Rory, the comedian, you have taken a bit of a slight break in the COVID times, I believe. Obviously, been focusing on your own things. But what is your actual handle in case anyone does want to find you're funny?
Do you know what? I'm pretty sure it's Rory Mason Comedy. And, you know, like, again, I'm just going to leave it at that because if you put it into Facebook, but I'm not on Twitter because it's just a lot of effort. I work in social media as it is, so can't be asked with that. But yeah.
There you go. And talking about Twitter, Nick, you don't like Twitter because you can be found at Nick Crooks Comedy everywhere except Twitter. Because why?
Because it's not long enough.
Yeah.
Twitter don't let you have it long enough. It's just Nick Crooks at Nick Crooks Comedy. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Can I give you a bit of podcast feedback live on the air? You know the automated voice that says you're like how to follow you guys?
Yeah.
I've listened to this podcast many times and not once have I been able to understand either of your handles. Like, to the point where once I tried to do it actually whilst listening, and yeah, if you actually want people to follow you, you maybe should do it.
Well,
now.
Rory, you're obviously not that much of a massive fan because we've got a new intro.
Oh, see, like to be fair, like mid-lockdown, it was like an everyday occurrence, and
don't worry, during lockdown, it was almost that for us as well.
Yeah. We're not doing anything today. Should we record another episode? Yeah. Go on then.
So we have a new intro song provided by the fabulous Alex Camp. We don't have an outro, it's just the intro, just done again. That's why we now do our own handles at the end, just because it just makes more sense. But yeah, so you can find me as well, which is at I am Jack V, and you can also find the podcast itself on Instagram. No, you can't, on Twitter and Facebook at NGOC Pod. Thanks for the feedback, though, Rory. Have you enjoyed your time with the nice guys? Again, that sounds sexual, but we'll keep it. It's fine. Have you enjoyed yourself?
I mean, keeping it on the sexual level, yeah. I mean, I've genuinely enjoyed myself. It's been both erotic and fun.
And all we did was talk about going up a mountain. So, and this is where people who are watching rather than listening will now see that Roy will stand up and see his leather hot pants. Or maybe, there you go. There you go.
I genuinely believe, because he didn't do it, he's genuinely not wearing pants. Like he went, oh, no, actually. Remember, Rory, you've not got pants on.
I'll never miss the opportunity to get my dick out on YouTube. It's just...
Oh yeah, we're best recording. I need to get money. I say I need to get monetized. This, I'm not getting monetized in the slightest, but we'll stop it. We'll stop it there.
Get a brew and sit your ass down for the Nice Guys of Comedy podcast. Nice Guys.